Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to Open Roads and Theatre Seats. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Claire. We talk theatre and travel and some things in between here. And if you are returning, welcome back. I hope you are all well. But today we are back, and we are back with something which I absolutely love doing, and that is awards predictions. So if you want to see who I predict is going to win in the What's on Stage 2023 awards, then stick with me and we'll get into it in 2 seconds. So yeah, that's right, we are here with the predictions of theatre awards. I used to do this on my old channel, and the reason I love it so much is because I shouldn't have the opinions on who wins. I don't know a lot about much and I still do this YouTube channel. I don't know, but basically I do try and watch as much theatre as I can. However, because I pay for pretty much all my tickets and I live in the centre of the UK, I do miss quite a lot of theatre because I haven't got infinite funds to be able to watch so many different theatre shows, and the theatre shows that I tend to watch are ones that I really enjoy, and for sometimes I have safety shows that I see a lot, and because I go and see those quite a lot I may miss other things. So it's entertaining for me because I just put my 2 cents in for no apparent reason, and I just find that fun. Basically what we're going to do, if you haven't seen any of this kind of style of video done by me, is I'm going to go through the nominations for each award and I'm going to predict who wins. And it's kind of a little bit of fun, but I have got my serious glasses on. So yeah, let's go through the nominations for the 23rd Annual What's on Stage Awards, which are taking place pretty much as you're watching this video. If you watch it live, it is happening on the 12th of Feb. So let's get into it. So up first we have the Best Performer in a Musical category, and that has the nominations of Courtney Bowman for Legally Blonde at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, Katie Braben for Tammy Faye at the Imelda Theatre, Davina De Campo for Hedwig and the Angry Inch at the Leeds Playhouse and also Home Manchester, Jordan Luke Gage for Bonnie and Clyde at the Arts, Frances Maylie McCann for Bonnie and Clyde at the Arts, and Charlie Stemp for Crazy for You from the Chichester Festival Theatre. Now, let's start with, I've only seen one of these performances, but for that reason alone I'm going with Courtney Bowman for Legally Blonde at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. Why? Because she was phenomenal. And as I said, I think when I posted that video and did my review of that show, which I think was just before I made the switch and came to this channel, but basically if that is the case, I would say that it was so amazing to have a person of a larger size like myself taking on that role. The entire cast of that show were amazing, and Courtney did an amazing job as Elle Woods, and it just would be the icing on that beautiful cake to have her win that award. I feel like it also could go to Davina De Campo because I've heard so much about Hedwig and that production, and I hear that it was phenomenal. And I mean, any one of these performers could win this because Bonnie and Clyde is Bonnie and Clyde. It's gonna win awards, I'm 100% sure of that. But I don't know. I would like it to be Courtney personally, but we shall see. We shall see. Next up we have got the Best Supporting Performer in a Musical. That is going to be between Jocasta Amgill for Grease, Lauren Drew for Legally Blonde, Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, Paul French for Grease, Natalie McQueen for Bonnie and Clyde, John Owen Jones for the Great British Bake Off musical at the Everyman Theatre in Cheltenham, and Marisha Wallace for Oklahoma at the Young Vic. Again, yeah, I've seen one. I don't think, not that it's a bad, because I do have plans to go and watch this musical, I don't think it's going to go to John Owen Jones. Just gonna throw it out there. I would love, again, for it to go to the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre production of Legally Blonde. My vote would be for Lauren Drew, because any girl or any person in, regardless of anything, who can do whipped into shape, including amazing skipping rope choreography, and still be able to finish this show, finish the song, should I say, should win everything. It was amazing at the time. I could have done like 2 jumps on that stage in the weather that we had, and I'd have been on the floor going, no, just finish off without me. Don't take that. Moving on. So yeah, I would go Lauren Drew, but again, I feel like it could go to, no, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I think Lauren shall win this. That is my prediction. We have got Best Performer in a Play, and that is it between Jonathan Bailey for Cock at the Ambassadors, Jodie Comer for Prima Facie, probably pronounced that incorrectly, apologies, at the Harold Pinter Theatre, Carrie Hope Fletcher for the I knew that was going to trip me up, the Caucasian Chalk Circle at the Rose Theatre Kingston, May Mack for My Neighbour Totoro at the Barbican, Rafe Spall for To Kill a Mockingbird at the Gielgud, and David Tennant for Good at the Harold Pinter Theatre. Thank you. I have seen none of the above. My guess is going to be either Jodie Comer or May Mack. So it's either going to be Jodie Comer smashing everything she lays her hand to, which I believe she did. I did not see either that production or the filmed version that was in cinemas recently, because I'm a bad theatre person, I know. Or it's going to go to May Mack of My Neighbour Totoro, because again, I've heard amazing things about that show, and yeah, I think it's just going to win quite a lot of awards this year. So they're my 2 predictions. It'll be either one of those from my perspective. Try to speed through that one so we're not ridiculously long video. We have next got Best Supporting Performer in a Play. We have got Jade Anuka for Cock, Gwyneth Keyworth for To Kill a Mockingbird, Elliot Levy for Good, Natasha Gigi. I may ruin everyone's names. For The Clothes They Stood Up In, Sharon Small for Good, and Greg Tanner Hill for Good Luck Studio. Again, not seen any of the above. I did hear great things about Good Luck Studio and Greg Tenhill in that show. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. There we go. Ta-da, done it. Well done. Now this one, I already know I want to win, and I hope they win. Best Takeover Performance. We have got Lauren Byrne for Matilda, Erin Caldwell for Heathers, Joel Harper-Jackson for Cock, Lucy Jones for Wicked, Ruben Joseph for Hamilton, and Ben Joyce for Back to the Future. Again, not seen any of them. I truly want to see Lauren Byrne in Matilda as Miss Honey, but I think that this should go to Joel Harper-Jackson for Cock, because we all know the Cock story from last year, and how he got put on at the last minute for one show and then ended up taking over for the rest of the run. I mean, come on. We all need that kind of amazing story to like just highlight how amazing takeovers and understudies stepping up is and are. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going for Joel Harper Jackson. Okay. Next up, we've got Best Professional Debut Performance, and the nominations are, and I'm going to ruin this first one, so I truly apologise, Thomasin Adjani, sorry, for The Play That Goes Wrong, Joe Locke for The Trials, Oliver Nicholas for Back to the Future, Aaron, I'm going to say Aaron, again, sorry, Aaron Rayner for The Great British Bake Off musical, Nadine Shah for Midsummer's Night's Dream, and Devan Defiat for Frozen. Again, haven't seen any of the aforementioned. I truly am sorry. I'm so bad at being like in the theatre world and I know nothing for like 79% of the time. I'm gonna go for Devan at Frozen. I'm going to do it. Why? Because I am aware of his existence, because I watch Michaela's TikToks on TikTok and he appears on quite a few of them. So yeah, there we go. Worst reason from me for someone to win. I'm just clutching at straws. There they are in my hands. Right, moving on to hopefully something that I know more of. Best New Musical. We have got Bonnie and Clyde the Musical, Great British Bake Off Musical, Identical, Tammy Faye, Band's Visit, or The Osmonds. Right, now I know from people who watched it, two of which are dear friends whose opinions I 100% rely on, said that Identical wasn't the best. I said it. So I'm not going to go for that. I would assume that it's going to go to Bonnie and Clyde. I feel like anything that has Bonnie and Clyde in it as a nomination has a good chance of winning. It's the cabaret of this year, if you will. So I think it'd probably be Bonnie and Clyde. But again, I have not watched any of them. So there is that. Next up, we've got Best Musical Revival. We've got the Curves production of Billy Elliot, Grease at the Dominion, Legally Blonde at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. I've said that like 4 times and I haven't messed it up. My Fair Lady at the Coliseum and now on tour, Oklahoma and Spring Awakening. Oklahoma was the Young Vic, Spring Awakening was Amida Theatre. I saw it, so I'm gonna say Legally Blonde at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. I did really want to see Billy Elliot at the Curve, but I missed it because I'm an idiot. But yes, I want to say Legally Blonde because it was a revival like nothing I have seen before. It was in a completely different space, it had a completely different feel, it was so inclusive as well. Yeah, it just needs to win. We need to win everything it has been put up for. Next up, we've got Best New Play, and we have A Different Stage at the Duke of York's, Best of Enemies at the Young Vic, the easiest word and I've just messed it up, Eureka Day at the Old Vic, My Neighbour Totoro at the Barbican, Prima Facie, gonna ruin it, at the Harold Pinter, and To Kill a Mockingbird at the Kilgood. Like I said previously, I think anything that My Neighbour Totoro is up for is probably going to win. There's so much buzz around that show. Everyone who has seen it has sung its praises 100%, so surely that means it's a shoo-in to win quite a lot of awards. It's one of those shows that has so much buzz and I think it's probably just going to win quite a lot. So I'm going for My Neighbour Totoro because I haven't seen any of them, but that's my prediction. Next up, we got Best Play Revival, and I have seen none of the above, so again it's going to be a pure guess. We've got Blues for an Alabama Sky at the National, Cock at the Ambassadors Theatre, Good at the Harold Pinter Theatre, The the Caucasian Chalk Circle at the Rose Theatre, the Crucible at the National, and the Seagull at the Harold Pinter Theatre. I'm hoping there's not much more Caucasian Chalk Circle because there are not many more ways I can ruin it. I am going to predict cock. And yes, I am 30, how old am I? 32, and still find it hard not to laugh at that. Yep, but that's my prediction. All the big one. Next up we have got the Best West End Show category, of which I've seen all but one, some pre-COVID, some post. So they are the Back to the Future musical. Let's give it its proper title, Back to the Future the Musical, Hamilton, Les Mis, Six, Phantom and Wicked. Hard to pick because they've all been around for a while, the youngest of the two being Six and Back to the Future. You know what, because I believe these were voted on by the public, I'm going to go Six. I'm going to put my neck out there and say Six because it is a popular beast. But like I say, apart from Phantom, I've seen all in this, and I don't know which one would be my favourite. I'm lying. I literally have the postcard of the theatre on my wall. It would be wicked. I need to return to you. Next up we've got the Best Regional Production, and in this category there is Billy Elliot at the Curve, Crazy for You at the Chichester Festival Theatre, the Great British Bake Off musical at the Everyman in Cheltenham, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella at the Hope Mill, the Book Thief, I always ruin that word, the Book Thief at the Octagon Theatre Bolton, and the Osmonds UK Tour. Again, I have seen none of the above. I really am kicking myself that I missed the Billy Elliot at the Curve. I think that will win, but again, Crazy for You is going to go into the Gillian Lynn after the Learman trilogy, and the Great British Bake Off is about to start their London run, and the Book Thief has also announced that it is going to go into the Belgrade Theatre and also the Curve later this year. So I will hopefully by the end of this year have said that I've watched 3 of these regional productions which have made their way to new theatres. So yeah, but I think Billy Elliot will take this one because I heard so many great things about that production from my 2 closest nearest and dearest, but I am also kicking myself. I never want to watch the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella at the Hope Mill because I love the musical. I love the music in the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella music hall. And I'm gutted that I never took myself to Manchester, although I don't think I'd trust myself to get to the Hope Mill and back on my own because I almost got lost when I was the part of a large group. So there is that. Next up we have got the Best Off West End Production, and we have Anyone Can Whistle at the Southwark Playhouse, But I'm a Cheerleader at the Turbine, Diva Live from Hell at the Turbine, Millennials at the Other Palace Studio, Ride at the Charing Cross Theatre, and Ruckus at the Southwark Playhouse. For the fact that I heard so much about it on my socials, I'm going to go for Ride at the Charing Cross Theatre, but again, I have not seen any of the above. I kept meaning to go watch But I'm a Cheerleader and I just kept forgetting, and the same with Millennials. I did really want to go and see that, but the times it was on and the times I was in London just never worked, so that was annoying. Up next we have Best Concert Event, in which we've got Chess at Theatre Royal Drury Lane, Jeremy Jordan at Theatre Royal Drury Lane, Six Concert at Hampton Court Palace, Stephen Sondheim's Old Friends at the Sondheim, Treason at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, and Witches of Eastwick at the Sondheim. I would predict Stephen Sondheim's Old Friends at the Sondheim Theatre, mainly because I saw the recorded version that they put on at Christmas, and it was so well put on with such heart and feeling behind it. The cast involved were amazing, and yeah, I just think it would be like rude not to put it on, especially as I believe it's coming back for a couple of dates this year. Please tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm sure that is the case. I would also put Kinky Boots in concert on there, but that's just personal preference because I am the world's, I'm not gonna say the world's massive, but I am quite a large Kinky Boots fan, and seeing that show in concert took me right back, and Cedric Neal was chef's kiss, but it's not up to me. Now we get on to the creative side. So we've got Best Direction, where we've got Dominic Cook for Good, Daniel Fish and Jordan Fine for Oklahoma, Nikolai Foster for Billy Elliot at The Curve, Rupert Gould, I'm guessing because it's 2 O's, for Spring Awakening, The Milder, Film, again apologies, McDermott for My Neighbour Totoro, The Barbican, and Indu Rubasingham, sorry if I said your name incorrectly, at the for The Father and the Assassin at the National. Like I said previously, I feel like My Neighbour Totoro is going to get a lot of awards, so I'm going for that, but if not that one, can it go to Nikolai Foster for The Curve's Billy Elliot, please? Because we need it back so I can see it. Next up we've got Best Musical Direction / Supervision, in which we have Sarah Travis, Steve Sidwell and the Company of Beautiful Carol King Musical UK Tour. We have Daniel Kluger, Nathan Kochi and Tom Brady for Oklahoma at the Young Vic, Bruce O'Neill and Matt Smith for My Neighbour Totoro, Barbican, Nigel Lilly and Tarek Merchant for The Band's Visit at the Donmar, Stuart Morley, George Francis and Elliot Mackenzie for Whistle Down the Wind at the Watermill Theatre, and Ted Spearling and Gareth Valentine for My Fair Lady. I think it will go to, or I would like it to go to, even though I didn't see it, again I heard great things, the Sarah Travis, Steve Sidwell and Company for Beautiful on tour, because everyone that has seen that production came back and was like, oh my god, it was so amazing. It was like actor musicians, we all know how I feel about those, so I'm truly going to put my heart behind that one. There we go. Next up we have got Best Casting Direction, and in this category we have Pippa Alon and Natalie Gallagher for Spring Awakening at the Milder, Stuart Burt for The Seagull at the Harold Pinter, Angie Carroll for Marvellous at the New Vic and at Soho Place, Natalie Gallagher for Pippa Alon casting at Legally Blonde, the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, Jacob Sparrow for Oklahoma at the Young Vic, and Anne Vosser and Joe Hawkes for Identical at the Nottingham Playhouse and the Lowry Salford. Excuse my stomach. I've already said during this video that the casting in Regent's Park Open Air Theatre production of Legally Blonde was amazing and diverse and wonderful, so 100% that needs to win, because if we shine the light on things like that, then hopefully more people will recognise and take forth what they did into the wider world, you know? So that is definitely my pick. Next up we got Choreography, where we've got Fabian Eloise for Bring It On the Musical at South Bank Centre, Maxine Doyle for The Burnt City, Ellen Kane for A Chorus Line, Lynn Page for Spring Awakening, Arlene Phillips for Grease, and Susan Stroman for Crazy For You. Now, because she is the choreographer, this is where I kick myself in the foot, because she's it ends up that it's not the case. But I'm pretty sure that Susan Strayman is also the choreographer behind Anything Goes, and I love that production when I saw it at the Barbican. And I predict that the same kind of amazing choreography is also in Crazy for You, so I'm gonna go for that one. Plus it was probably amazingly done by the cast, so I'm gonna go for that. However, the chorus line at the Curve is also on that list, and I heard amazing things about that too, but don't make me choose. But if I had to choose, Crazy for You. Costume design next, we have got Evie Gurney and Richard Morby for the 47th at the Old Vic, William Ivy Long for Crazy for You at Chichester Festival Theatre, Katrina Lindsay for Tammy Faye at the Imelda, Melissa Simon Hartman for Much Ado About Nothing at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre, Gabriella Slade for Share Show, and Catherine Zuber for My Fair Lady at the Coliseum. 100%, hands down, Gabriella Slade for the Share Show. I've seen that show twice, and each time I've wanted one of everything on that stage, including the cute sailor hat that the ensemble wore. Just there. Bish bash bosh. Lighting design next, we have got Neil Austin for Tammy Faye at the Meader, Nick Farman for the Book Thief, Jessica Hung Han Yun for Neighbour Totoro, Jack Knowles for Spring Awakening, Tim Lutkin for The Crucible, and Scott Zelensky for Oklahoma. I don't know anything, so I'm going to go for My Neighbour Totoro again. I don't know, this is pure guesswork. Also, sorry if I'm speeding through these, but I'm aware that it's a ridiculously long video and I'm trying to get it snappy. Best set design, we've got John Balsaw for Into the Woods at the Theatre Royal Bath, Elsa Devlin for The Crucible at the National, Robert Jones for Murder on the Orient Express even at the Chichester Theatre, Morgan Large for Sister Act at the Eventim Apollo, Tom Pye for Basil Twist at My Neighbour Totoro, and Ben Stones for Hedwig and the Angry Inch at the Leeds Playhouse and Home Manchester. Again, not seen any of these, but I have seen pictures for Into the Woods, and that set looked like crazy, but crazy good. So I'm gonna go for that. If you have time, check out the set design for Into the Woods. It was insane. So that's who I'm gonna go for, knowing nothing about any of the productions. Sound design, we have got Neil Bettles for Blood Harmony at the Traverse Theatre, Tony Gale for My Neighbour Totoro at the Barbican, Paul Gruthus for the band's visit at the Donmar, Adam Fisher for Into the Woods, Drew Livy for Oklahoma, and Annie Mae Fletcher for Hedwig and the Angry Inch at the Leeds Playhouse and Home Manchester. Again, not seen any of the above. I'm going to go again for Into the Woods. I think Into the Woods are going to smash the creative side. It's also amazing that it didn't make the regional list, but what are you gonna do? Next up, and penultimately, we've got Best Video Design. Up for that is Luke Halls and Zach Hine for The Book of Dust, Douglas O'Connell for Identical, Finn Ross for Spring Awakening, Finn Ross and Andrea Scott for My Neighbour Totoro, Max Spielbergler, for Best of Enemies, and Joshua Thorson for Oklahoma. I'm going to predict My Neighbour Totoro because, as I previously mentioned, I've heard great things. I think it's going to win quite a lot of awards. And finally, Best Graphic Design, which basically is usually Best Poster. We have got AKA for Tammy Faye, Bob King Creative for My Fair Lady, apologies, Felicity McCabe for the Felicity McCabe and the National Theatre Graphic Design Studio for The Crucible, Muse Creative Communications for The Book of Dust, Studio Doug for Prima Facie. I think I've said that name about 4 times throughout the entire video, and I don't think I've said it well, any of them. And finally, Toshio Suzuki and De Winters from My Neighbour Totoro. Now, if what I'm thinking is correct and it is all to do with the posters, I'm going to go for either My Fair Lady, because there's something about that poster that draws me in every single time, and also My Neighbour Totoro because I saw it a lot on the tubes and it always looked fantastic. So what are you going to do? I mean, personally, if we're talking posters, it would be that one right there on my wall because it's just amazing. But alas, it didn't get a nomination, and that is gutting. It's absolutely gutting. But there we go. Predictions done and dusted in probably about half an hour. I hope you grabbed yourself a cup of tea before we started, or if not, you're making tea, you're cooking food, and you just got me on the background. Feel free. That's how I spend my time watching YouTube videos, I'm not gonna lie. So if you want to welcome me into your home, sorry, I kicked you. If you want to welcome me into your home, then feel free to do so. So there we go. I'm going to leave this outro quite quick because it's been a long video as is. Feel free to give your predictions down below and we'll see who guesses the most correctly. I would say there would be a prize, but I don't know what I could give you. In the words of Ian Beale, I've got nothing left. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you also enjoy these predictions videos, and I will try my best to do one for any other upcoming award seasons, such as the Olivier's. I do love the Olivier's. Fingers crossed though with that one there is a bit more choice in winners, because Cabaret Cabaret kind of took all the prizes, didn't they, last year? Still a year on, gutted that Carly Mercedes Dyer did not win for Irma in Anything Goes. I'm not over it and probably never shall be. Anyway, on that bombshell, I'm going to leave you here. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you next time. I love you all lots. Bye.